It actually is interesting because you can go from culture to culture and people do define happiness differently. In fact, in European nations, if you were to Google, like, well, let me ask you, do you know what the top happy countries are? Have you?
Well, isn't it like Finland or Norway, like that Scandinavian region?
Yep, that's what people say. That's what they say.
Give me a hard one.
Yeah. No, because that actually may not be the answer.
Oh, okay.
So hold on.
Okay.
So a lot of academic research on happiness has been done in Europe, the United States, and Australia. But do you see kind of a problem with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. Because?
Oh, come on. Just tell
okay.
us.
Okay. I don't have to put you through school. Well, I mean, we're looking at primarily more wealthy, white countries when you look at the United States and Europe and definitely Australia. So there are other nationalities. So as research in happiness has progressed and researchers are trying to do a better job at inclusion of all the people, they found that in different parts of the world, we define happiness differently.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And so in some of the research, when questions have been asked and people answer a certain way, then that might have been judged that meant they weren't happy. But now that we do further research, we decide, we see patterns of happiness looking different in other countries. But that aside, there are typically two different ways we look at happiness. One is that sort of flashy joy and happiness of let's go to the beach, let's go on vacation, let's go to the spa, let's play, dance, and that's your dance videos, you know. And so it's that kind of really systemic kind of make you happy. I'd give you the terms, but then we'd start sounding like a university class. I'm not going to do that.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, but there's a different type of happiness. They're eudaimonia and hedonic happiness. But the happiness that is now researched and looked at to be kind of the more meaningful happiness does involve other things like struggle being part of happiness, which people don't think. Oh, actually.
But it's the striving, right? Where I understand how striving and becoming is where we grow, and therefore where we're cultivating happiness,
right?
And from all the lessons that we learn from those activities too,
right?
When we get to the other side of it, especially.
Well, right? I think what we've found is that excitatory happiness that we think is all that ultimately doesn't produce long-term happiness. It's very short-lived. Like if I say to you, maybe one of your dreams is to take your whole family to Hawaii, which I know you just did that. Check, did that. And it's an exciting thing, and maybe you dreamed about it, and it created a lot of joy and excitement, and you went, and it paid you well on the trip.
Yes.
But you came home, and now it's gone.
The next thing.
You're on to the next thing.
Right.
But that type of happiness is something we kind of chase, and we chase, and we chase, and we chase, but then ultimately it doesn't continue to pay out. It's not a long-term payout. It's a short-term payout. So I say I'm going to go to the spa with my friends, or I'm going to go party and play, and it's going to bring me happiness. A lot of people think that's all that happiness is, but it doesn't pay very well. It pays in the moment. It pays a few days after. It pays sometime beforehand, but it doesn't really live long in the bank of happiness.
Okay. So, and I can see, I believe you, but I'm just thinking,
okay,
if we go to the concept of mindfulness and being present, our life is made up of every moment. And so if we are feeling, and I guess that's why those moments are still important to cultivate and create a habit of,
important.
Is because we're going to stack all those moments together. And not that we're going to Hawaii every day, some are bigger or smaller, but if we're picking and choosing to do and focus on things that are happy, then we're going to have a whole collection of those.
Right. But then you might falsely believe that your life is supposed to be a party every day.
Come on. Is it not?
No, it's actually not. So happiness isn't long-lived. Like, think about it. It's something you need to do. This excitatory happiness is something you want to create in your life, but it is not going to pay you dividends for a long time. It's a short payment, it's a good payment.
It's a good one.
We like it.
But let me talk. Right, we have to go to work. And we have to
Right.
watch our kids, and we have to, all the things that are
Right.
we are responsible human beings functioning in a society where we have to work together. So we've got to have time for all of that, and that we need to find a way for. I'm with you. I'm getting it.
You're getting
we
it.
need to find a way for all of that to bring us happiness too, and that, guys, I think she's going to teach us that.
Okay.
She's going to teach us that. Here we go.
Okay, so here's going to click. So the next type of happiness, and it's actually now a pretty valid. It is the flagship theory of happiness, and it comes from the research done by Martin Seligman. He's the father of positive psychology. He used to be the president of the APA, the American Psychology Association in the United States. And I won't go into talking about him. He's very, very famous. We'll just let it be that that's who he is. But his research over the last, several decades has mounted to this concept called PERMA. So can we talk about PERMA? Okay. So the PERMA is the model for happiness. So if you're wanting happiness to pay you in big dividends, not little short deposits, but you're wanting the bank of the full happiness.
We want
this is where you want okay. So you can do the little Hawaii vacations.
We're serious here, pretty sisters. We want you can dance all the ways to be happy.
But you're going to do it all. Okay, so let's talk about this. So PERMA is the P. So this is an acronym. P is positive emotion. This is where you're right. You want to create positive emotions. You want to do some flipping. In fact, is that what brings you positive emotion as you're dancing?
Yes.
Okay, well, that works. Okay. So you want positive emotion. So that does lead you to want to be the positive guru. You want to be the person who can flip it. That's
Sophie, my daughter, flips it. Or flips her switch all the time.
Switch, yeah. Research by Dr. Barbara Friedrichsen shows that when we can expand into positive emotions and we can take a situation and find what she calls a benefit finding. So anything you go through in life, you start to benefit find, that you see this expansion not only in the way that we feel about our life, but we also see it in our brain. So her research shows that you see more connections, more expansion in the neurochemicals in our brain. So you do have a boost, a neurochemical impact of happiness when you can become a benefit finder. So that is the P, the positive emotion. You want to create more positive emotions in your life. So you can be intentional about that.
Mm-hmm. That's where, for me, I've always called that, at least I think this is where it relates, as finding the silver lining in all things. That approaching life, that sure, it's going to be hard. I tell my kids that, not to scare them, but just to, I think if you have a healthy perspective that life isn't just going to be all rainbows and roses, and that you're going to have hard things, and you can expect that when they do come, you tackle it and you look for the benefits. You look for that silver lining, because there's always a silver lining and everything will work out for you in the end. And when you believe that, you can still be happy through the challenge.
And you do have some folks out there who think that you shouldn't do that. And I'm here to tell you should do it for your mind, for your brain. So I want to acknowledge you've had difficult things in your life. All of us have things that you'd rather not have gone through. But if you can benefit find in those experiences, that's going to bring more positive emotion. And all this starts to bank up a bit bigger for your happiness.